So welcome to the latest in our Tea Break series. I'm Karys Staddon. I'm the Production Data and Insight Analyst at Orchestras Live, and I'm joined by Becky West, our Regional Producer for the North. And today we are talking about the social value engine. So Becky, we are going to jump straight in there with the big question. And can you tell us a bit more about what is social value and why is it important for cultural organisations?
For us, social value is a measure of the good that you can achieve through your activities as a cultural organisation with a particular community. It's a tool that's now used quite a lot in government tender processes for public contracts. And there's really interesting areas that I think we're really finding out and learning about all the time. At Orchestras Live, we believe in the intrinsic value of culture and that there are many ways in which it benefits us all the time. And that's why we work with people to make sure people across England have access to orchestral experiences, no matter who or where they are. And we know through our work that cultural work produces social value. We collect inspiring stories that tell us how participants feel about their experience and what it means to them having orchestral work in their place. But then taking all these things that people tell you or you observe in the room and defining those social benefits from a project into evidence that we can use then to advocate for the value of our work, it can be quite challenging. And we keep exploring how we're measuring impact and looking at the kind of rich cultural offer, how we strengthen community connection through our work, the value pride in what a community might produce if they're creating new music, supporting artistic and community practitioners, their development and CPD, improving artistic and creative skills for participants, confidence, well-being, all of these things as cultural organisations, Karys is nodding, we're talking about all the time, and kind of at the backbone of the surveys that we all do. And we're really interested in then how we can use that data to tell that story. And Karys has done a lot of work here at Orchestras Live to take us on a journey with that. And the social value engine is becoming a really key part of that work. So we had an opportunity with our partners at East Riding Council to begin exploring and piloting a social value engine assessment of a cultural project evaluation. And it's been a really exciting journey, and it's not just about the data side of it is exciting, but it's actually what it tells us and how we can use it, I think, that has got us the most excited. So I think the social value engine itself provides a way to evidence the social value of cultural activity against the widely understood UN Sustainable Development Goals. Karys, do you want to tell us a bit about those?
The UN Sustainable Development Goals, there are 17 goals that were adopted by the United Nations member states in 2015 as part of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. And it's better thought of as an interrelated system rather than a list of targets. But we know that there are other sectors that are really familiar with these, and perhaps a little bit more than the arts and culture sector are at the moment. But it's a really good way for us to be able to communicate some of our impact beyond the immediate sector. And I think the fact that the social value engine can map outcomes against the Sustainable Development Goals is a really helpful tool. And there are other frameworks that can also map against the Bristol Accord. So yeah, it's a new and exciting way of looking at our impact through a different lens as well.
Yeah, and I think that's helping us actually understand our work in a different way because we're using it against a different framework that's not a cultural specific framework. I think that's challenging us quite a lot as we've gone through this pilot process to talk about, well, where does this fit? Where does that value fit? And that's an interesting process in itself. So as you can tell from our conversation, we've been piloting a range of different project modules as part of our Classically Yours programme through the social value engine. So using evidence we've already got to help us understand and learn how the engine works and what it could do for us. And I think it's fair to say the results have been positive so far, very positive. And we've already been using them to inform our approach in terms of advocacy and fundraising for Classically Yours, which has been fantastically useful. Lots of funders, as we know, are increasingly using those UN Sustainable Development Goals. So it's speaking to a kind of broader language than that cultural specific world that we all exist in. So yes, it's going to help us make better use of the data we have. we think.
Yeah, it's a really exciting new step in our data journey for sure.